all of you, more than 100 days after the genocide began, and far more than 75 years after the military occupation and the settler colonialism, the apartheid system, the land theft, the imprisonment. It's a lot. We're tired, but they are so much more tired than we are. So this morning I read that in the news that Palestinians have started to use animal fodder to make bread. They started to go into the supply they used to feed their animals. It's not fit for human consumption, but it's what they have, and they make do with it. I also read on a related note that the US, the UK, and several other Western countries have decided to stop funding the UNRWA facilities that Palestinian people have been using to shelter. Yay! What little they have, somehow the United States finds a way to bring new ways of oppression into the midst. After we think we've seen it all, they keep stooping lower and lower. So, I have a question for all of you today. What do you think we should expect? What should we expect of the people who govern us? If we think of the lowest standard we could possibly have to ask of the people who claim to have power over us, shouldn't the lowest standard be that they are not mass murderers? Yes! They fail to even jump through the lowest hoop, and it might be a very shocking thing to recognize, but at the same time, the United States government is doing precisely what it was designed to do from its very inception, which is to hold power over other countries who are not part of their system. This is Western imperialism. Our founding fathers that are so glorified in our textbooks growing up were slave owners. They were land thieves, and they're still doing the same thing today. It never changed. This is the system we live under, and you can't treat a cancer until you diagnose it. The United States government is a cancer. Western imperialism is a cancer. Imperialism is a cancer. Our lives are governed by the most violent maniacs in the world. They do not care about human rights. They care about the acquisition of power, and they will say all the pretty words to get us to be okay with it and think they are on our side. We are living under the illusion of choice. This is not a democracy. The two-party system is controlled by the same puppet master. So we pick our favorite side, the lesser of two evils, and there we have it. Both of them doing the same damn stuff every 4 years. Every 4 years they come by and they try to remind us that, try to buy back our admiration of them, try to instill a sense of hope in the population and appease their anger, and tell them, no, hey, the side that you are on is right and the other side is evil, and all you have to do is turn against your fellow Americans and look to the government to solve everything for you. And we're not going to take that anymore. No! It's very frustrating because we keep seeing them say the same things and we forget so easily. I forget too. I'm from Iraq. My childhood consisted of the slaughter of my people. It was a huge part of my childhood. It shaped my identity. I grew up here, I still forgot. I still thought, well, maybe if we just find the right leader, we can go through the system and fix things. But would you ask a rapist to create a therapy for abusers of sexual assault? No! So why are we going through the system to create change? It makes no sense at all. I even saw, there was a protest in Britain recently. One of the Labour Party speakers got interrupted by a Palestine protest. The moment he saw a Palestinian flag, he ran. He was so scared. And then once the security guards had finally controlled the protester, the man felt emboldened to say, change through power, not protest. And that is what they want us to believe, and I want you to remember that because, God help us, we are in an election year. So the news for the next year is not going to be about Palestine and the genocide. It is going to be about governments and politicians, and this one promises this and that one promises that, and we can't allow ourselves to judge them based on their words. We can't forget that their words are meaningless. They have proved this again and again. The fact that they associate with this government means they are part of the cancer. It sounds cynical, it sounds hopeless, but that's not my message to you. my message to you is that change begins when we diagnose the problem. And the problem is the United States government. We do not turn to them seeking the solution. We shame them, we pressure them, but we do not seek for them to free Palestine. We are the ones who will free Palestine!